Remember when everybody got excited for the Pro Bowl? I remember. It wasn't that long ago. It felt as if it was a decade, though, at least watching what the game has since become, or I should say what the week has since become. It really depresses me because I used to get very excited. I love to see the league's best come out and show why they are the best. We don't get to see that anymore. It's now become all buddy-buddy. Everybody's just happy to be there. They're not even in Hawaii anymore. When it was in Hawaii, it felt like it had a Pro Bowl feel. It felt like you're really at an all-star environment. Now what we have, well, we're in Florida, and what is it? Raining all over the place. Why? Because Nick Folk can't hit the right weather when he kicks the ball to the Mother Nature and he's hitting the rain option because he continues to miss. Punch up! We ain't talking about him right now. I'm not going to sit over here and get triggered, but I felt as if we can make a couple of tweaks to fix Pro Bowl weekend. Number one, this past Pro Bowl, they had a 40-yard splash competition where you're carrying buckets of water and filling up a tub. Then you had to throw a ball at a target to sink the designated, Hall of Famer who happened to be seated. DeMarcus Ware, he wasn't a Hall of Famer just yet, but I guess you have resident Super Bowl champion representing the AFC. Then you had Hall of Famer Brian Urlacher representing the NFC. Please explain to me what sort of skill this has to do with football, outside of throwing the football at the target. But outside of that, that can be used in precision passing. Why is there a 40-yard splash competition? Stupid. Get rid of that. Bring back what you used to have back in 2007. Figure out who's the fastest man. Bring back a 40-yard dash. And you can use this with linemen and also with skilled players. And you can have the skilled players have a small tournament where they all run within like an hour span. Well, I shouldn't really say an hour span because that's extremely long. But you could have a bracket of 16 different players. Have all of them 4-on-4, so 4 different heats where you have 4 players race against each other. The final 4 race to see who's the fastest player in the NFL. Obviously, the teams that are at the Super Bowl, they can't have their participants participate, which I believe the Pro Bowl should be after the Super Bowl, but I understand you want the most important game last, so all right, I digress. So, have 16 of the fastest players at the Pro Bowl race against each other, 4 different heats. There'll be 4 individual winners, and in the final race, all those 4 individuals race to see who's the NFL's fastest man, and bam, you have a competition rather than a stupid 40-yard splash. Next, Dodgeball. Why is this here? Get rid of it. Nobody wants to see it. It's not entertaining. It's such close proximity. They have rules that make no sense. Get rid of it. It got nothing to do with football. Let's substitute that with flag football. But there's a twist because obviously you're playing flag football the exact same as regular football but minus tackling. Since the Pro Bowl game is pretty much glorified flag football, touch football, we're going to make this interesting. Legends versus current players. Obviously you don't want to have no retirement home legends out there. Here comes Joe Namath walking out onto the field. No, don't do that. Have those quarterbacks that have since retired not too long ago, so you can bring out a Kurt Warner. You can bring out a Peyton Manning. You can bring out these other quarterbacks who just left, who can still play, Michael Vick, and they can still throw. Have them play as the quarterbacks, receivers, T.O., Ocho Cinco. You bring those personalities, Steve Smith, hell, Michael Irvin, Deion Sanders, Leon Sandcastle. You get people, these legends, well-known legends, to go 7-on-7 with the current players. You have different sort of teams. They play each other to a certain score. You make it interesting. Now you give the legends a real reason to be there because you still have bragging rights. Jerry Rice is the greatest receiver of all time. Right now, people are talking about Antonio Brown. People talk about Julio Jones. People talk about DeAndre Hopkins. People talk about Jarvis Landry. People talk about Michael Thomas. People talk about Odell Beckham. Everybody likes to use the acronym GOAT. Well, guess who that belongs to? Jerry Rice. You have an opportunity to still show people that, hey, I may be 50, but I can still go. Which he says he can still go. Herschel Walker says he can still play in the NFL right now, doing 2,000 push-ups, 2,000 sit-ups a damn day. Guess what, Herschel? Come out to the Pro Bowl and show them how you gonna run all over them. They can't touch you. They can't keep up with you. They can't do certain exercises that you can do. These sort of competitive games would make people really want to tune in and entice people to change the channel to watch the Pro Bowl. For the big guys, because obviously you want to have an event in which the big guys can showcase what they can do. As I said earlier, a small 40-yard dash to show who's the fastest large man, or feats of strength. Let's see who's the strongest man. Bring back the bench press. We saw Larry Allen bench press, what was it, 44 times of 225 back in like 96 or something like that? Not 96, I think it was like 2005, whatever it was. But we had different times in which you could see who was the strongest man. You can even bring in some of those Mr. Olympia sort of competitions with who's the strongest man regarding lifting or pushing different trucks to really entice people to want to watch. Those competitions work. We have precision passing. I love that event. I just don't like how it's set up, where you're throwing it at targets. I want to see some mobility. Remember those old games that they had in the 2005, 2007, hell, in like 98, where they had moving dummies moving around, or they had the quarterback scrambling out. You had to hit certain targets. Make it challenging rather than I'm stationary, throwing at stationary targets, and there's occasional moving things here and there. No, make it challenging on the players to see who can really elevate to the elite status and showcase their athleticism while they're going against it, playing against their opposing QBs, so you can see who's the better amongst everybody, because the competitiveness has to be there. I don't care how you try to set it up to, oh yeah, we're gonna take it easy. People still want to prove that they're the best. Make it challenging to where we'll see who's the best, and put a cash prize for whoever wins. Or maybe if you win this, the money goes towards your charity. Give them a reason to want to play. Because now bragging rights and feeling as if I'm the best, it no longer, it doesn't fuel the fire inside of these players anymore. Then we also have the gridiron gauntlet. I like the gridiron gauntlet. We can keep that. It's fun, it's short. I feel as if they should extend it a little bit more, add more players into it. Instead of it being done within like a minute and 20 seconds, make it a little bit longer. Also have more players take part rather than it be a one-shot thing. I think it should be a longer sort of event with heats. Or something like that. Well, not necessarily heats, but I guess if you extend it to make it like a 2-minute, 3-minute sort of test of your athleticism of each different player, you can really make everybody feel involved, or another team can mess around and come back, rather than if you mess up for the first 15 seconds, you're pretty much done. Next, we should have brought back the kick-tack-toe that we had last year. I actually enjoyed it. Granted, kickers are not the same as they were a few years back. It seems as if every single kicker who goes and lines up that's not named Justin Tucker is fixing to miss. More importantly, Justin Tucker did miss some crucial kicks this year. Or I should say really just one against New Orleans, but I'm not going to hold that against him. As of right now, him, Vinatieri, greatest kickers of all time. I give the nod to Vinatieri, obviously, because he's done it in the big game. But Justin Tucker's numbers cannot be denied. Dan Bailey, you kind of screwed yourself at the end of last year, but we ain't talking about that right now. But bring back the kick-tack-toe, because that was very unique, and it's one of those games in which the kickers really have to show how good they are. There's no fabricating anything. You have to actually aim for higher, lower. That was phenomenal. The only problem is if the kicker ends up getting blocked and nobody wins, do you restart the game? How do you do that? I would restart it just to, it really gets everybody into it. You should keep that game. Punters have to figure out a way to be involved as well. If you remember playing old Madden games where they had, I think it was called a coffin punter, where you could have to punt it to certain different areas, line up buckets around the field and have punters punt. When they land in certain buckets, they get points for something. So the first punter to get to a certain number of points wins. Let's say 21. Line up something, if it's a deep corner, that would end up being out of bounds inside the 5. That would attribute to 5 points. 3 points if it's inside the 15. 1 point if it's within the 25. No points if it's, no, I should say within the 20, and then no points if it's beyond 20. Make it very fun. If it lands as a touchback, it's a minus point. Matter of fact, no, let's not do that. I guess it would just leave at no points, because if people end up kicking into the touchback area, it's going to be negative, and you don't want to have that happen unless you're a terrible punter. But nonetheless, make it fun, make it competitive, make these players have to really show why they're in the NFL, because if we're doing a 40-yard splash, any kid can do that. Make them feel like they're superheroes as if they can't be touched. And finally, the game. First and foremost, alternatives, alternates, all this other stuff that's been going on, it's ridiculous. The amount of people that's gone to the Pro Bowl this year, last year, the year before, it makes no sense. Because all of the star players who actually made it, they just decide, hey, I'm not going. I understand if a player decides, hey, I'm going to turn it down, I'm not going to go. Well, if that's going to be the case, you can't just invite everybody. Lamar Miller was at the Pro Bowl. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. What is he doing there? What is he doing there? Mitch Trubisky went to the Pro Bowl. How does he get in over somebody like a Matt Ryan? Makes no sense. Makes no sense. Because we bring in anybody to the Pro. Anybody can go to the Pro. It doesn't mean anything anymore. Before, Pro Bowl selections meant something. When you made it there, you were amongst the best in the league. It wasn't always a popularity contest. Go back and look at the running back lineup for the 2003 Pro Bowl. LaDainian Tomlinson had over 2,000 all-purpose yards. I remember this vividly. He didn't even get voted to the Pro Bowl because that year, I think Jamal Lewis ran for 2,000 yards. Clinton Portis, no, he was he in Washington yet? No, I think he was still in Denver. He went out of his mind that particular year, and Priest Holmes, who was on the Chiefs, he completely murdered everybody, and LaDainian Tomlinson did not get in. All right, and the players that I don't think any of those teams ended up going to the Super Bowl. No, 2003 the Patriots ended up winning. So all of those three players, they ended up in the Pro Bowl, and LaDainian was sitting at home like, man, this sucks, man. This is terrible. He's probably tear dropping his soap into the damn the thing when he took a shot. But nonetheless, we ain't talking about that right now. So we gotta bring back, the players that make it to the Pro Bowl, they actually attend, and a Pro Bowl selection means something. All right. Number two, the actual game. I'm tired of this glorified two-hand touch. I'm not doing it. I understand player safety. I understand you don't want to see injuries. We just saw Juju Smith-Schuster, Keenan Allen both end up limping off of the field. We've seen a couple years back, Tyler Eifert, I believe he broke his foot. We've seen some injuries in the Pro Bowl, but this is football. Injuries happen. If you're going to try to set up a game and we say that we're all-stars, what's the purpose of doing walkthroughs? You might as well just cancel the game. Let the all-pro list be who's considered the best in the league. More importantly, this particular game, moving away the topic of the two-hand touch, and we talk about all-pros, there's a ton of people who felt as if they should have been first-team all-pros, they should have been second-team all-pros. They're saying at the Pro Bowl next to the person that got the vote to be the first team or second team. Here's your opportunity to prove that you're better. But we don't have that out there. We got guys who's just happy to be there. You gotta fix that. You gotta want to show the world why you're better. And I remember Deion Sanders put out a post on Twitter, put out a tweet talking about back then in the Pro Bowl, you had to show your worth. And everybody didn't wear the same number. So for example, if you had three different defensive backs who all wore the number 21, you all got voted to the Pro Bowl, only one person gets to don that number 21. You gotta earn your keep or seniority rules over everybody else. All right, we consider Deion Sanders the greatest cover corner of all time. If not the greatest, he's top three. Don't talk about tackling, but we talk about pure corner. At that, he is the best, in my opinion. He was wearing number 24 at two different Pro Bowls because somebody else was in front of him. Think about that. Now we got all these other people wearing the same number. You got defensive players on offense, offensive players on defense. What is this? What is this? This is a mockery. All right, if we're gonna have the best players out here, have them showcase why they're the best. Bottom line, quarterbacks, if you're playing terrible, pull them, pull them. The coaches, there gotta be something to where you got Jason Garrett and the Dallas Cowboys out there coaching the NFC, which I still don't understand how he got there, because if New Orleans was salty about the finish at the NFC Championship, all right, they didn't want to attend. But Dallas? Really? Was Philly not available? You could have called up Doug Peterson, he could have came. Oh, they didn't win the division. All right, no problem. Matt Nagy, he's probably gonna mess around, be the coach of the year, in my opinion. The way he turned around Chicago, he wasn't available. You could have called him. But the Dallas Cowboys, and they come out with the NFC, the best players in the NFC, and you only put up 7 points, really? You line up with three running backs defensively. Nobody even tries to go touch Ezekiel Elliott. Nobody touches Alvin Kamara. Nobody touches Saquon Barkley. What is this? Ridiculous. What else do I have written over here? Also, yeah, the lack of competitiveness in the games. People don't want to be the best. More importantly, the referees blowing the whistle at the time that you get within close proximity of the opposing player. If you exhale and the breath comes out and touches the defensive player, they're blowing the whistle. That's the end of the play right there. Are you serious? What is this? Guys, this is a terrible game. Either make the Pro Bowl competitive to where guys have something to play for, or just cancel it altogether. I understand people don't want to get hurt. I understand you don't want to, it's a meaningless game because this is the loser's bowl and guys didn't go to the Super Bowl, but you still have an opportunity to showcase why you're amongst the elite in the NFL. I've went to high school, I've went to college, I've seen all these other all-star games. These guys, they go out there and they compete. Hell, an NBA all-star game. It's terrible through the first 3 quarters. But when the 4th quarter comes, all of a sudden they start to play real basketball. Last year in the Pro Bowl, that happened to be the case in football. First 3 quarters wasn't too much. 4th quarter came, guys started playing real football and said, wait a minute here, hold on. Remember a couple years back when was it Cam or Jameis Winston? I think it was the first year when Cam ended up inside the Pro Bowl. He started going hard, hitting laser pass. They started touching him up. They started hitting him. We got to bring that back where those vets show the rookies, hey, this is the way it's supposed to go. This was Kyle Williams' last game. It was his last game. Hell, I would have loved to see the man get a handoff on offense and then the defense tries to stop him instead of, oh, let's just move out the way and let everybody score. You should be ashamed of yourself. You go out there, you only put up 7 points. You're supposed to be the NFC's best? Really? Come on, man. We got to fix the Pro Bowl. So I believe if I was running it and I wanted to change the way the Pro Bowl would be, first off, with the skills challenge, number 1, 40-yard splash, that's gone. We got a dash between 16 different players. We lining up different heats. We got 4 different heats, 4 different races. The best of each of those races, they race in a final race. The winner is crowned the fastest man in the NFL. Next, we don't got no more dodgeball. That's gone. We got flag football legends against the best current players. And we're gonna see who's really gets to hold the moniker as the best in the league, best of all time. Things of those natures. We got that going. Precision passing. We're gonna keep that exact same sort of game. We're just changing it the way that it is. We're gonna have some mobility. We're gonna have some changes of play calling. We're gonna make the stuff fun. Then after, we got the best hands competition. I like the way that it's set up. We can keep it that exact same way. I like that. You got the jumping and the catching and the moving and the one-handed and on the sidelines and the catching over the shoulder. I love it. Let's add some more movement to it. Rather than you just standing here, let's make it a little bit more, test them. Just test their athleticism, but we can keep that going. Bring in a bench press. Make sure we can see who's the stronger of the large boys and things of that nature. Have some moving sort of dummies. Maybe even bring back some combine drills or something. Somebody sent me a message talking about maybe they should bring back combine drills. Originally, I said nobody would really want to be in tune with that, but with the offensive line, if you have the offensive lineman going against the defensive lineman and you have the who can get to the quarterback or can the offensive lineman protect the quarterback, that would be very fun to see. So let's bring that back as well along with the bench press. Keep the gridiron gauntlet where it's an entire team thing, but extend it a little bit longer. Rather than it being done within a minute and 30 seconds, let's try to get it to about 3 minutes. Make it a little bit grueling. You can make it like the Titan games sort of situation, the Ninja Warrior sort of situation. Not that sort of, oh, you're doing some catastrophic sort of exercise. No, that's not the case. But make it extremely challenging rather than everybody, it's a breeze to get through. Make it somewhat tough. Bring back the kick-tap-toe. Make it hard for the kickers to make kicks. Make it fun for them. The punters, add in a punting game for the punters. Long snappers, sorry, nobody really cares about you guys outside of the special teams unit, so I don't think anybody outside would say, what are the long snappers going to do? Let's watch them snap the football. Nobody's really going to come to the Pro Bowl for that. So unfortunate for you guys. And then finally the game, make it competitive. Make it mean something. Bring back what the Pro Bowl used to be. Make people want to go. Because I'm tired of watching this game and I'm seeing the stands in which it's empty as hell. Nobody wants to go there. It looked like as if Thanos just snapped his fingers before the game and half the damn stadium happened to get erased. Except the damn players. And they might as well erase the players the way that they playing, man. Fix the damn Pro Bowl or cancel it.